Morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the beautiful words of the Meshiv Nefesh, and today he tells over a Maisa, a story that has become quite famous over the years in Klal Yisrael. It took place in the days of the Arizal, so we're going back about 500 years, and it involved a simple Jew who was sitting in shul one day while the Rav was giving his drasha, and he was explaining about the mitzvah called Lechem Aponim, the 2 loaves of bread that used to be brought every Shabbos in the Beis HaMikdash in the temple. And he spoke about the great nachas, the pleasure that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had from these 2 loaves of bread that were offered up each and every week, and the unfortunate loss of that since the times of the destruction of the temple. And there's a void in the world, said the Rav, because we're no longer offering up these 2 loaves of bread every single Shabbos. This man took such a chizuk, such a inspiration from the story, that he decided that from now on, what was he going to do? He was going to bake his own challah every single week, and he was going to bring it to the Beis HaKnesses, to the shul, and he was going to offer it up before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, before Shabbos, that Hashem should have nachas from him. And sure enough, he began his great avodas Hashem, his service of God in this way. And he came to the shul when it was quiet and was empty, and he would open up the Aron Kodesh where the Sefer Torah rests, and he would offer loaves of bread before Hashem, and he would do it with tefillah, with prayer, and he would cry bitter tears that he hoped that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would accept his great offering and his sacrifice before him. And every single week, to the man's great astonishment, as Shabbos would come to an end, he would notice the loaves of bread were no longer in the Aron Kodesh. As a matter of fact, when they would open up the Aron on Shabbos morning, already to take out the Sefer Torah, the bread was gone. And the man was convinced that HaKadosh Baruch Hu loved his service so much. He was so pleased with the offerings that he was bringing, and he heard his prayers, and he saw a Jew that was down here in this world wanted to recreate the Kedusha that was once inside of the Beis HaMikdash. The man was convinced that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was accepting his challah each and every week. One week, on Friday afternoon, as the man was opening the Aron Kodesh and bringing the loaves of bread there, and he was davening, and he was crying, and he was praying that Hashem should accept them, suddenly the Rav of the shul walked in, and he sees what the man is doing, and he begins laughing a little bit to himself, and he walks over and he says, Reb Yid, what are you doing over here? Why are you putting challah inside the Aron Kodesh, inside the ark where the Sefer Torah is? And the man said, Rabbi, you once gave a drasha months and months ago about the lechem aponim, the loaves of bread that were offered up to Hashem. And you spoke about the void that there is in the world since the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. I took it upon myself to bake challah every single week and bring these loaves to the Aron Kodesh in our shul and daven and ask Hashem to accept them as an offering on behalf of Klal Yisrael. And for the last number of months, every Friday I bring them, and by Shabbos morning they are gone. And I know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is pleased with our service down here in this world. The Rav understood immediately what was taking place, and he realized that it must be that the shamish, like the janitor that's there in the shul, who would get the shul ready every single week before Shabbos, would see the loaves, the bread there, and he would take them for himself so that they wouldn't be in the Aron Kodesh. And he told the man, and he broke his heart, and he said, it's a nice story, and it's a nice thing that you have done, but you should know, it's not HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is taking your bread, it's the shamish of the shul who takes them every single week, and that's why they're no longer there. The man was so sad from hearing that, he stopped bringing his offering. Shortly after that, the Arizal, who was the great tzaddik of the generation, had a dream. And in his dream, they told him that in Shemayim, in the heavens, the Rav who had revealed to this poor man that it wasn't really Hashem that was accepting his bread, rather it was the shamish, it was the shul's janitor that was taking it, caused the man so much pain. But besides that, caused HaKadosh Baruch Hu so much pain, because he saw the actions of this man were so pure and so humble and so real, that since the Beis HaMikdash had been destroyed, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not have such a nachas, such a pleasure from the avodah, from the service of a person in this world. And he said that there was a very big taina, a very big complaint against the Rav, because he revealed the truth of this action to the man and did not allow the man to continue going and giving the challah with all of his heart the way that he was. The Arizal revealed this, and unfortunately the end of the story is the day after the dream and the day after the Rav was told what happened, Beis Rav, the rabbi, ended up dying as a result of this story. Says the Meshiv Nefesh, he points out, what do we learn from this? Davar nifle is something that is amazing. Sheyachid ba'aseisa ma'ase b'temimus, when a single individual does an act for the sake of Hashem with purity, ubeshleimus hakavana, and his intention is complete, yachai ligroim nachas ruach l'maylo, he's able to bring pleasure above to Hashem, mamish ka'avodas Beis HaMikdash b'shaitai, like the service that took place in the Beis HaMikdash, in the temple at its time. Noira limizbainen, how wondrous and awesome is this to the person that thinks about it. Which means, think about the deeds that you do in this world, and the more pure and the more focused and the greater intention that you have to do it for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his mitzvahs and getting close to him, you could look at yourself as a Jew that is walking into the Beis HaMikdash, serving Hashem with all of your heart, all of your soul, all of your body, all of your mind, and Hashem accepts your avodah, your service, as if you were in the Beis HaMikdash itself. May we be zeich in these trying times for the Jewish people, that through our service of Hashem, with all of the milas, all the good energies and trying that we do, may be a schus to bring the true Beis HaMikdash to this world. Bimheira b'yameinu.